Chapter 3 Plant Kingdom. So, hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm NEET aspirant and I'm also preparing for NEET 2027. अगर आप भी NEET aspirant हैं और एनसीईआरटी को लाइन बाय लाइन रीड करना चाहते हैं तो आप बिल्कुल सही जगह पे आए हैं। तो हम इस वीडियो में एनसीईआरटी की हर एक इम्पोर्टेंट लाइन को रीड करेंगे, समझेंगे और NEET के इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट को हाईलाइट भी करेंगे. So without wasting any more time, let's get started to this chapter, that is Plant Kingdom. 3 Plant Kingdom. In this chapter, we look at the broad classification of living organisms under the system proposed by Wiltaker in 1969, where he suggested the 5 kingdom classification by Monera, Protista, Fungi, Animalia, and Plantae. In this chapter, we deal in detail with further classification within kingdom Plantae, popularly known as the plant kingdom. We must stress here that our understanding of plant kingdom has changed over time. Fungi and membranous of Monera and Protista having cell wall have now been excluded from Plantae through earlier classification placed them in the same kingdom. So the cyanobacteria is also referred to as blue-green algae are not algae anymore. In this chapter, we will describe algae, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm, and angiosperm under Plantae. Let us look at the classification within Angiosperm to understand some of the corners that influence the classification system. The earlier system of classification used only cross-species morphology characters such as habitat, color, number, and shape of the leaf, etc. They were based mainly on vegetative character or on the angiosperm structure given by Linnaeus. Such systems were artificial. They are separated or closely related species. They were based on a few characters. Also, the artificial system gave equal weightage to vegetative and sexual characteristics. This is not acceptable since we know that often the vegetative characters are the more easily affected by environment as against the natural classification system developed which were based on natural affinities among the organism and considered not only the external feature but also internal feature like ultrastructure anatomy embryology and phytochemistry. Such a classification of a flowering plant was given by Gregor Bentham and Joseph Dalton Hooke. At the present, phylogenetic classification system based on evolutionary relationship between the various organisms are acceptable. These assume that organisms belonging to some taxa have a common ancestor. We now use information from many other sources to help resolve difficulty in classification. They become more important when there is no supporting foils events. Numerical taxonomy, which is not easily carried out using computer, is the based on all observable character number and coding of assigned to all the character and the data are not processed. In this way, each character is equal importance. At the same time, hundreds of characters can be considered. Cytotaxonomy. This is based on cytology information like chromosome number, structure, behavior, and cytotaxonomy that used the chemical contribute of plant to resolve confusion are also used by taxonomists these days. Algae are chlorophyll being simple thyroid autotrophic and largely aquatic both freshwater and marine organisms. They occur in a variety of organism habitat moist stone soil and wood. Some of them also occur in association with fungi lichen and animal example of slot bear. The form and size of algae is highly highly variable, ranging from colonial form like volvox and filamentous like Eulothrix and Spirogyra. Figure 3.1. A few of the marine forms such as keep from massive plant bodies. The algae reproduced by vegetative, asexual, and sexual method. Vegetative reproduction is by fragmentation. Each fragment developed into a thalamus. Asexual reproduction is by the production of different type spore, the most common being the Jew spore. They are flagellated motile and the germination given rise of two new plants. Sexual reproduction takes place through fusion of two gametes. These gametes can be fertile and smaller in size as in eulothrix, or non-flagellated, non-motile but similar in size as a Spirogyra. Such reproduction is also isogamous. Fusion of two gametes dissimilar in size as the species of Eudorina is termed as an isogamous. Fusion between the large non-motile female gamete and the small motile male gamete is termed oogamous. Example: Volvox fucus. Algae are useful to man in verify to weigh at least a half of the total carbon dioxide fixation on Earth is carried out by algae through photosynthesis. Being photosynthesis, they increase the level of dissolved oxygen in their immediate environment. They are of paramount importance as primary production of energy-rich compound which form the basis of food cycle of all activity mammal. Many species of Porphyra, Laminaria and Sargassum are among the 70 species of marine algae used as food. Certain marine brown and red algae produce large amount of hydrochloride. Water holding substance. Example: algae, born algae and carrageen, red algae, which are used commonly. Agar, one of the commonly product obtaining from Galletium and Glycerelia, are used to grow microbes and it preparation of ice cream and jelly. Chlorella, a unicellular algae rich in protein, is used as food supplement supplement each by space travel. The algae are divided into three main classes: Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae, and Rhodophyceae. Chlorophyceae. The membrane of chlorophyceae is commonly called red algae. The plant body may be unicellular, colonial, and filamentous. They are usually grass green due to dominance of pigment chlorophyll A and B. The pigments are located in defined chloroplast. The chloroplast may be discoid plant-like reticulate, cup-shaped, spiral, or ribbon-shaped in different species. Most of the membrane have one or more storage body called pyrenoid located in the chloroplast. Pyrenoid contain protein-based starch. Some algae may store food in the form of oil droplet. Green algae usually have a rigid cell wall made up of inner layer of cellulose and the outer layer of pectose. Vegetative reproduction usually taken place by fragmentation. Asexual reproduction is by flag- flagellated zoospore produced in zoosporangia. The sexual reproduction show considerable vegetation in this type of formation of sex cell. In it may be isogamous, angiosperm, or oogamous. Some commonly found green algae are Chlamydomonas, Volvox, Eulothrix, Pyrogallia, and Chlorella. Phaeophyceae. The membranes of Phaeophyceae are or blue-green are formed primarily in marine habitat. They show they show great variation in size and form. They range from simple branched filament forms ectocarpus to profusely branched from as represented by kip which may reach a height of 100 meters. The they they process chlorophyll A, C, carotenoid, and xanthophyll. They vary in color from olive green to various shades of brown depend on the amount of the xanthophyll pigment fucoxanthin present in them. Food is a storage of complex carbohydrate which may be in the form of laminaria or mannitol. The vegetative shell have a cellulosic wall usually covered on the outside by the gelatinous coating of algae. The protoplast contain in addition of plastid in a certain located vacuole and nucleus. The plant body is usually attached to the substratum by a holdfast and has a stalk and strip and leaf-like photosynthesis organ. The front vegetative reproduction takes place by fragmentation. In sexual reproduction is most brown. Algae is by bifilamented zoospore. They are pear-shaped and have two unequal, literally attached filament. Sexual reproduction may be isogamous, anisogamous, or oogamous. Union union of gamete may take place in water or within the oog- oogonium. Oogamous species, the gamete are pyriform, pear-shaped, and bear two located attached filament. The common form of Ectocarpus dityota, Laminaria sargassum, and Fucus. Rhodophyceae. The membrane of rhodophyceae are commonly called red algae because of the predominance of the red pigment are phy- phytoerythrin is their body. Majority of red algae are marine with generally concentration found in the warmer area. They occur in both lightened region close to surface water and also to great depend in ocean where relatively little little light penetrate. The red belly of the most of the red algae and multicellular. Some of them have complex body organization. The food is stored in Floridian starch, which is very similar to amyloprotein and glycogen in structure. The red algae usually reproduce vegetatively by fragmentation. They reproduce asexually by non-motile spore and sexually by non-motile. Gamete sexual reproduction is oogamous and accompanied by complex post-fertilization development. The common members are Polycyphonia, Porphyra, Glycerinia, and Giladium. Bryophyte included the various mosses and liverwort that commonly grow in most shade area in the heel. Bryophyte also called amphibians of plant kingdom because these plants can live in soil but are depend on water for sexual reproduction. They usually occur in damp, humid, and shaded locality. They played an important role in plant succession or break rock soil. The plant body of bryophyte is more differentiated than that of algae in its thalamus like and portrait or erect and attached to substratum by multicellular rhizoids. They lack true roots, stem, or leaf. They may propose root-like, leaf-like, or stem-like structure. The main plant body of the bryophyte is haploid. In it produces gamete, hence it called gametophyte. The sex organ in bryophyte and multicellular, the male sex organ is called androecium. The production of they produce binucleated anthrozoid. The female sex organ called archegonium. In flask shape is produced a single egg. The anthrozoids are released into water where they come in contact with archegonium and anthrozoid fuse with egg to produce the zygote. Do not undergo reduction division immediately. The the produce they produce a multicellular body called spirocyte. Their spirocyte is non-free living but attached to the photosynthesis gametophyte and derive nourishment for it. Some cells of the spirocyte undergo reduction division meiosis to produce haploid spore. this spore gamete to produce gametophyte. Bryophyte is generally are the little economic importance, but some mosses provide food for herbivorous mammal, bird, and other animal species of Spirogyrum. A moss provide peat that have a long been used fuel and has a packing material of transshipment of living material because of their capacity of holding water. Mosses along with lichen and are the first organisms to colonize rock and hence are the great ecological importance. They decompose rock, making the substrate suitable for the growth of higher plant. Since mosses form dense mass of the soil, they reduce the impact of falling rain and prevent soil erosion. The bryophytes are divided into liverwort and mosses. Liverwort. The liverwort grow usually in moist, shady habitats such as brake of stream, marshy ground, damp soil, brake of tree, and deep in the wood. The plant body of a liverwort is thyroid. Example, Mercantia. The thalamus is the thalamus is dorsiventral and closely appear to the substrate. The the leafy membrane have have tiny leaf-like appendages in two row on the stem-like structure. Asexual reproduction in liverwort takes place by fragmentation of thalli or by the formation of a specialized structure called gamma. 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 Gamma are green multicellular asexual bud which develop in small recipital called gamma cup. Located in the thalli, the gamma become detached from the parent body to germinate to from new individuals. During sexual reproduction, male and female sex organs are produced either on the same or the different thalli. The the sporocyte is differentiated into a food, seta, and capsule. After after meiosis, spores are produced within the capsule. Their spore germinated to form free-living gametophyte mosses. The predominant stage of the life cycle of moss is the gametophyte, which consists of two stages. The first stage is called pronatum stage, which develop directly from a spore. It is creeping, creeping green branched and frequently filamentous stage. The second stage is leafy stage, which develop from a secondary phenomena as a lateral bud. The consist of upright slider axis being spirally arranged leaf. They are attached to a soil through multicellular and branched rhizoid. The stage bear the sex organ. Vegetative reproduction in mosses is by fragmentation and budding in a secondary phenomena. In sexual reproduction, the sex organ antheria and archegonia are produced at the apex of the leaf shoot. After fertilization, the zygote develops into sporocyte consists of a fruit, seta, and capsule. The sporocyte site is mosses is more elaborate than that the liverwort. The capsule contains spore. Spore are formed after meiosis. The mosses have an elaborate mechanism of spore dispersal. Common example of mosses are Funaria, Polytrichum, and Sargassum. Pteridophyte. The pteridophyte include horsetail and fern. Pteridophytes are usually for medicinal purpose and the soil bi binders. They are also frequently growth and ornamentals. Evolutionary, they are the first transitional plant to process vascular tissue, xylem and phloem. You shall study more about this tissue in chapter 6. The pteridophytes are found in cool, damp, shady places through some may uh, fluoresces will in shady soil condition. You may recall that the bryophyte, the dominant phase in life cycle in in the gametophyte plant body. However, in pteridophyte, the main plant body is sporocyte, sporophyte, which is differentiate into true root, stem, and leaf. These organisms process well differentiated vascular tissue. Vascular tissue. The leaf in pteridophyte are small microphyll, as in Selaginella, or large microphyll in the fern. The sporocyte bear sporangia that are supplanted by leaf-like appendages called sporophyll. In some in some cases, sporophyll may form directly compact structure called strobil or cones. Selaginella equisetum, the sporangia produce spore by meiosis in spore mother cell. The, the spore germinated to give rise in conspicuous some but multicellular free living free living mostly photosynthesis thyroid gametophyte called prothallus. These gametophytes require cool, damp, shady place to grow because of this species resistant requirement and the need of water for fertilization. The spread of living pteridophyte is limited and resistant to narrow geographical region. The gametophyte bear male and female sex organ called antheria and archegonia respectively. Water is required for transport of anthro anthrozoids. The male gamete released from the antheria in the mouth of archegonia. Fusion of male and female with egg present in archegonium result in the formation of zygote. Zygote thereafter produce a multicellular well differentiated sporophyte which is dominant phase of pteridophytes. In majority of pteridophyte, all the spores are similar kind. Such plants are called homosporous. Genera like Selaginella and Salvinia, which produce two kinds of spore, macro, large, and micro, small. Spore are known as heterospore. The megaspore and microspore germinate and give rise to female and male gametophyte respectively. The female gametophyte in this plant are retained on the present sporocyte of for variable period. The development of zygote into young embryo take place within a female gametophyte. This event is procedure to the seed habitat considered an important step in evolution. The pteridophytes are further classified into four classes: Psilopsida, Lycopsida, Phenopsida, Pteropsida. Gymnosperm. The naked sperm seed, are, are, are plant in which the ovule are not enclosed by any ovary, ovary wall and remain exposed both before and after fertilization. The seed that develop post fertilization are not covered, that is, are naked. Gymnosperm included medium-sized tree or tall tree and shrub. One of the gymnosperm the redwood tree. Hickory is one of the tallest tree species. The root are generally top root. Roots is some genera have fungal associated in the form of mycorrhiza pinus. Will will in the some cycles small specialized root called corollary root are associated with N2 fixation, nitrogen fixation cyanobacteria. The stem are unbranched sinus and branch pinus cylindrous. The leaves may be simple compound in sinus in the pinnate leaf persists for a few years. The leaves in gymnosperm are well adapted to withstand extreme to temperature, humidity, and wind. In in conference, the naked needle-like leaf reduce the surface area. Their thick, curtle, and sunken stomata All help in reduce water loss. The gymnosperms are heterosporous. They produce haploid, microspore, and megaspore. The two kinds of spores are produced within sporangia that are borne in sporophyll, which are arranged spirally along an axis, or from legs or compact strovil or cones. The strovil bear microsporophyll and microsporangia are called microsporangiate or male strovil. The microspore develop into male gametophyte generation, which is highly reduced and it confuses only a limited number of cells. The reduced gametophyte are called pollen grain. The development of pollen grain takes place within a microsporangia. The corn bean micropyle with ovule and megasporangia are called megasporangiate or female strawberry. The male and female corners of strawberry may be born on the same tree pinus. However, in sinus, male corn and the megasporophyle are born on different trees. The megaspore mother cell is differentiated from one of the cell of nucleus. The nucleus is protected from envelope and the composite structure is called an ovule. The ovule are born on microphyll megasporophyll which may be clustered clustered to form a female cones. The megaspore mother cell divided mitotically to form four megaspores. One of the megaspore includes within a megasporangia develop into the multicellular female gametophyte that bear two or more archegonia or female sex organs. The multicellular female gametophyte is also retained within microsporangia. Unlike bryophyte and pteridophyte is gymnosperm, the male and female gametophyte do not have an independent living living free-living existence. They remain within a sporangia, remain the sporophyte. The pollen grain is released from the microsporangia. They are carried in human current and come in contact with opening of the ovule bond or microsporophyll. The pollen tube carrying the male gamete grow toward archegonia in ovule and discharge their content near the mouth of the archegonia. Following fertilization, zygote develop into a embryo and ovule into seed. These seeds are not covered. Angiosperm. Unlike the gymnosperm, where the ovules are naked, in the angiosperm, the are flowering plant, the pollen grain and ovule are developed and specialized structure called flower. In angiosperm, the seeds are enclosed in fruit. The angiosperm are an The angiosperms are exceptionally large group of plants occurring in wide range of habitat. They range in size from smaller volvox, tall tree and in size from small volvox to tall tree eucalyptus over 100 meters. They provide us food, holders, fuel, machines, and several other commercial important products. These are divided into two classes, are dicot and the monocot. Plant kingdom included algae, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm, and angiosperm. Algae are chlorophyll bearing small thyroid, autotrophic, and largely aquatic organisms. Depend on type of pigment possessed and the type of storage food. Algae are classified into three classes, namely chlorophyce, Pterophyce, and rhodophyce. Algae usually reproduce vegetative by fragmentation, asexually by formation of different types of spore, and sexually by formation of gamete, which may show isogamy, angiosperm, or oogamy. Bryophyte are plants which can live in soil but are dependent on water for sexual reproduction. Their plant body is more differentiated than that of algae in the thalamus, like the prostrate or erect and attached to the substratum of rhizoid. They processes look root-like, leaf-like, and stem-like structure. The bryophytes are divided into live and mosses. The bryophytes are divided into liverwort and mosses. The plant body of liverwort is thyroid and dorsiventral, where mosses have upright slender axis burning very arranged leaf. The main plant body of a bryophyte is a gamete producing and called a gametophyte. It bears the male sex organ called Antheria and female sex organ called Archegonia. The male and female gamete produce fuse to form zygote, which produce a multicellular body called a sporophyte. It produces haploid spore. The spore germinate to form gametophyte. In pteridophyte, the main plant is a sporophyte, which is differentiated into two root stem and leaf. These organ process well differentiate vascular tissue. The sporophyte bear sporangia, which produce spore. The spore germinate to form gametophyte, which require cool, damp place to grow. The gametophyte bear male and female sex organ called Antheria and Archegonia, respectively. Water is required for transfer of male and female male gamete to Archegonia, where zygote is formed after fertilization. The zygote produced a sporophyte. The the gymnosperms are the plant in which ovules are not exclosed by any ovary wall. After fertilization, the seed remains enclosed. Therefore, these plants are called naked seed plants. The gymnosperm produce microspore and megaspores, which are produced in microsporangia and megasporangia. Born or a sporophyle. The sporophyles, microsporophyles, and megasporophyle are arranged spirally on axis to form male and female spores, respectively. The pollen grain germinate and pollen tube release the male gamete into ovule where it fuses with the egg cell each archegonia. Flowering fertilization, the zygote develop into embryo and ovule into seed. The angiosperms are divided into two classes, the dicot and the monocots. So that's all for today. मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में. अगर आपको मेरी वीडियो अच्छी लगी हो तो इस वीडियो पे लाइक करना, कमेंट करना और ऐसे ही वीडियो के लिए सब्सक्राइब करना. बाय बाय.